Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for choosing our show. I don't take it for granted. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are in a position of leadership, there is a way you are required to display and exercise certain standards of decorum. It even gets to a higher calling where you are in a position of a public office and you know there are people who adhere to your standards. The way you behave, what you say, even how you dress sometimes influences others. President William Ruto has been found wanting in his utterances. Yesterday, he made certain statements to the effect that he advocates for shooting of those of goons who take advantage of demonstrations to loot others' property. Now, the statement sounded like a president who is concerned and who wants to protect mali ya watu. But on further scrutiny, you'll realize that those statements were reckless and they have been drawn out of proportion. And actually, the ripple effect is burning this country. Today, one of the very Ruto allies, Belgood Member of Parliament, Nelson Koech, weighing in on the statements of William Ruto, confirmed our fears. And Koech is saying that what William Ruto said is an understatement, and is saying to him, or in his very considered opinion, there should be a shoot to kill, not just shooting the foot. When you trespass, the police is supposed to deal with you scathingly. And if you look at X today, Nelson Koech is really trending. In a video that has gone viral, and I know most of you have watched it, I want to prove to you that Nelson Koech is not just speaking his mind, but a collective mind of the people who are around William Samoei Ruto. And I will also tell you that this is a coded message, even to the police. And that is exactly what William Ruto means. I want us to listen to Nelson Koech. This time round, if you have watched this video, I don't want you to listen to what Koech is saying. I want you to listen to what he is not saying. Because Nelson Havi is warning the police that they will carry their own cross. And he's telling William Ruto that there is something that you didn't tell us, yet you know very well what your statements are tantamount to. Kindly listen to Nelson Koech.
Kuna na mimi nataka niseme na nishukuru Rais William Samoei Ruto. Wakati jana umesema shoot but do not kill. I want to repeat it here. In fact, shoot and kill. You cannot have someone coming after your life and you do not want to shoot and kill. You cannot have someone who is going to terrorize you and your family and you are telling me you cannot shoot and kill. You cannot have someone who is coming after your businesses armed and with weapons and you want to tell me that you cannot use shoot and kill. The Constitution, the Police Act has given the police the powers to use their arms where they have evaluated the risk of their lives is in danger. And I want to say, these people have been terrorizing people. Anyone who wants to go to a protected area like State House is not an ordinary person. That is a criminal. That is an armed person that must be dealt with equal force. And the only force that applies to such people is to shoot and kill. If you think that the government is sending goons and assassins to attack people's property and investment, why do you have a problem when the government then goes after the people they have sent, as you claim? We will arrest everyone, and I can tell you they are terrorists, and they are going to be charged as either facilitating terrorism or they are terrorists themselves. Yule mama ambaye alichomewa biashara yake ya county supermarket alifanya makosa gani? Opuzi yenu mnatuambia sijui one term ya nani? Nani alikuambia sisi ndio tutakaa one term? Kibaki hakukaa one term, Uhuru hakukaa one term. Sisi umeona wakati imetufikia ndio sisi ni washenzi tukae one term. Tunapiga term mbili fululizo. kama taifa la Kenya na kama jamii hatuwezi hata siku moja, na wasifikirie sisi ni waoga ati wanatupangia na sisi tumekaa hivi. Kama ni kupanga, wasifikirie hatuwezi kupanga. Ni vile tunapenda amani na wachunge hii amani sana. This country, blood has been shed enough times. And we will want to warn all those who want to orchestrate violence in our nation that we will not allow the temptation to join your chorus.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you listen to Nelson Koech, you'll realize that that statement has got two folds. One, he is actually warning and adding some weight to what William Ruto said. But the second part is talking about them as a community, they as a community. And they're saying, you know, some people think that they can take Ruto home within one term. They think they can plan. He's referring to the Wamunyoro group. And people like Nelson Koech are the people who can easily get to the ICC because they think that President William Ruto is theirs alone. They think that President William Ruto is a Kalenjin president. They think that they are now more Kenyans than others because they have the presidency. And I want to tell you the danger. Not in Koech's statements alone, but in President Ruto's statement. These statements are careless and they can easily be misinterpreted. I want to ask you a question. Why do you think Koech didn't speak earlier until the president made that pronouncement? It only tells you that what William Ruto says can be easily misinterpreted. I want you to imagine that you're in a family meeting and then someone who is drunk comes to disrupt that meeting. Then you have your old grandfather there or your father and he says, tafadhali toeni mtu hapa anatusumbua. The statements are very innocent, but the people who will be trying to remove the intruder might give him some slap. Or further, I want you to imagine that Rigathi Gachagua is in a meeting. Let's say Rigathi, that group, Rigathi, Kalonzo, Natembeya, Matiang'i, they are in a rally that is charged. Then someone comes and says, kwendeni huko, Ruto 2 term, nyinyi, you know, he tries to disrupt. And then maybe Rigathi says, wewe umekunywa pombe zako, toka hapa, toeni huyu mtu hapa. What do you think will happen? Or you are in a rally, if you are pro-Raila or Ruto is in a rally that is attended by people who adhere to his political ideologies, or Raila for that matter. Na anasema, toeni mtu anatupigia kelele hapa. Toeni mtu, msimchape, toeni. Do you know this person will be removed, but with a lot of beatings? And so when William Ruto tells us that I advocate for shoot the foot, what he is not saying, or rather what can be easily be misinterpreted, is that huyu jamaa amesema tugonge kabisa. And that's why I say that as an influencer, as a leader, especially when you are of the political class, you should really watch what you say, watch how you behave. Even if William Ruto just meant that you shoot the foot, you've seen people like Nelson Koech, they are speaking with a lot of authority and audacity. Why? The president has spoken. After all, the president is a Kalenjin or a Nandi or like them. And let me ask you, you saw that police who was saying, niko na haki ya kukuua na utalala kwa fridge leo. If that police officer listens to William Ruto, telling them ya kwamba wewe shoot, piga mguu. If even before the pronouncement of the president, he had already taken charge and was saying, niko na haki ya kukuua. What about now that the president has made those pronouncements? Nelson Koech is just part of this team that really feel that if you are not supporting William Ruto, then you don't even need to be in this country. Unafaa utafute nchi yako. Na polisi wengi sasa after hii pronouncement wanasema mtaona. Number 2, this is a coded message. Someone was telling me, a police officer, a very close friend, that the president cannot come out publicly and tells the police that will go out in bad faith. When the international community listen to that, you can easily take the president to court ya kwamba wewe unasema watu wawe. No, to give the impression that he's innocent, but at the same time allowing the police to shoot to kill, he has to use something that is covered in euphemism. Ya kwamba mimi nimesema mgonge tu mguu kwa sababu hawa wanakuja kufanya nini? Kuharibu mali ya wenyewe. Yet when you scrutinize the statements further, it is a coded message to the police. Because I listened to Murkomen, I listened to Ray Omolo. They had already congratulated the police for a job well done. And it tells you that in the entire police fraternity, together with the PS and the minister, they believe that people should be shot and killed. Nelson Koech is not just speaking his mind. Now, in light of the discussion that is going on, Nelson Havi, who is the former Law Society of Kenya president, had this because there is a hidden effect in Ruto's statement. This is what he's saying. This is what he says. Listen, a rifle round will often dismember a limb, leading to excessive bleeding and death. President William Ruto has no power to order you, a police officer, on how to use a firearm. You will be charged and convicted alone. He will not care when you go through the tribulations. And I want you to look at that very keenly. When you tell a police officer to shoot the foot, what will happen? That limb will be cut, most likely. It can lead to excessive bleeding that will finally result into ultimate death. And that's why I was telling you that that order is choreographed and hidden. Yet the end result when you unveil it is to kill. And that's all Havi is saying, wacha kutudanganya. Hii amri ni ya kuua tu. If you're not dead, then hautai tembea tena. You will automatically be maimed. But he's also warning police officers that Ruto has no powers to order you. As a matter of fact, there was a time William Ruto said that the police command is independent. They take orders from the IG of the police. I remember when he was being asked why there are a lot of kidnappings, he said the police has got an independent budget, the police has got an independent command, he does not come in. Yet we know that this is a lie. He's the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. But it is a caution because someday will come when the police will carry their own cross. The police that killed Boniface Kariuki, you remember the mask vendor? They were charged, the two of them. One was set free, but the DPP has approved charges on the one that pulled the trigger. Remember, he was hit by a rubber bullet in the head, and they pretended, they kept him in ICU for so long. Finally, maji ilizidi unga, they said, wacha tutoboe, so he's dead. And that police officer is carrying his own cross. William Ruto is not with him. And I remember in 2007, the former, that was not IG, but the police commissioner, because that was under the old constitution, was taken to Hague. And he could not defend himself that was acting on orders from Mwai Kibaki. As a matter of fact, Kibaki hakupelekwa Hague. Ni wale watu ambao walikuwa wanamsaidia, wale ambao walikuwa wamechukua City Hoppa, wanaferi watu wao pale kusaidia, wanaferi Mungiki. The police that was ordering shoot to kill, wale ambao wale revenge wakiprotect mashamba yao in Rift Valley. So you need to be very careful because William Ruto will not start with you on the dock. And so, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, if the police will kill, then the commander-in-chief has ordered them to do so. because we have seen people like Nelson Koech confirming, and this only corroborates the feeling, the belief, and their resolve to ensure that no one will oppose William Ruto. He has said they can also plan a counter group to protect their own presidency. They do not realize that all of us are taxpayers. This is exactly what William Ruto was saying yesterday, ya kwamba kwani Moi ama Kibaki ama Uhuru, kwani yeye alikuwa perfect, kwa nini hawakumsumbua? Because they have reduced the presidency to theirs, and they are reduced national concerns to the Kikuyus alone. They feel that it is only the Kikuyus who are opposing William Ruto. No wonder everyone is now acquiring a Kikuyu name. I'm still thinking of whether to be FREDRICK Mbogwa. I think that can do. I think that will be my name, because now all the cousins are saying, if you feel that it is only the Kikuyus who have got a bone to chew with you, everyone is disappointed. So, ladies and gentlemen, we must condemn the reckless statements, because it is now burning the country. Many others are now saying, shoot. And Koech has just given you a message from a high authority. I believe that is, and of course, Murky has said it, I believe that is the feeling of people like Oscar Sudi. I don't know what to think, but William Ruto must now retreat and understand that whatever he says has got a lot of weight and can take this country to an unimaginable abyss of difficulties.